Afternoon, I'm Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times on Monday, March 21st. News from around the world. Donald Trump, the Republican presidential frontrunner, is in Washington today meeting with various establishment figures. Maybe he is going to be the Republican presidential nominee. Among the people he's meeting with in one private session is U.S. Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas. Cotton as yet has not endorsed a candidate for president on the Republican side. Does this mean he's potentially a choice for a running mate for Donald Trump in November? The world watches anxiously, I might add. Speaking of the presidential race, Warren Stevens, the CEO of Stevens Inc., the giant Little Rock investment house, has put $1 million into a PAC that's trying desperately to beat Donald Trump. He's earlier given money to Jeb Bush super PAC. We know what happened to Jeb Bush, and he's also spending money in a super PAC that's trying to beat Connor Eldridge, who's running for U.S. Senate from Arkansas as a Democrat. Speaking of failed presidential candidates, they've tallied up Public Integrity, a good government group has, the amount of money raised so far in the presidential campaign. All the candidates and their super PACs together have now raised more than $1 billion. A lot of those people are already out of the race. One is Mike Huckabee, the former Arkansas governor. Some $9 million was raised by him and super PACs for his effort. He finished 16th in the money-raising sweepstakes. He's out of the race. Elsewhere, the Department of Human Services today issued a report that said there's improvements needed at the Booneville Human Development Center and other human development centers. They need more training, more reporting, and perhaps some instruction in use of restraints on some of the developmentally disabled people there. The Disability Rights Group of Arkansas has raised questions about the condition of buildings and the use of restraints at this center before. In Jacksonville last week, the Jacksonville City Council condemned apartments owned by Representative Donnie Copeland of North Little Rock. He's a Pentecostal preacher who just lost a race for state senate. They've been talking to him since last October about fixing his apartments, which are dilapidated, unoccupied, and an eyesore for a nearby city park. He says he needs more time. The council's run out of patience. He's got to fix them or tear them down in 30 days. Last week, the State Board of Education, late last week after we taped Friday, talked about the additional information they're going to request about expansion of charter schools in Little Rock, something that's going to be on their agenda later this month. We learned in a Freedom of Information Act that was finally complied with late Friday night that members of the State Board of Education communicated about this meeting in private through emails before the meeting took place. That's an apparent violation of the State Freedom of Information Act. A State Department attorney also advised them to send information to a department employee who would then disseminate the information among the board members. If that's used as a means of reaching a decision without talking to each other, that's equally against the law, at least according to a past state Supreme Court precedent that was cited in Fort Smith. Other news from Fayetteville, a ruckus has developed in Fayetteville because a Fayetteville alderman, a far right-wing, anti-gay civil rights alderman, John Latour, was in a coffee shop in Fayetteville last Friday and asked a server there if she was a woman or not. It offended her, or the manager asked him to leave. He called for a boycott of Arsaga's restaurant as a result. It's stirred a call for his resignation. He says he won't resign. He said he was just joking. He's not a very funny guy. He's made untimely and unseemly remarks about gender identity in city council meetings before. He says he loves everybody. He's a good Christian, judging by his words and deeds. Stoby is the favorite restaurant in Conway, home of great cheese dip and a diner favorite for years and years up there. Suffered a calamitous fire Saturday morning during the breakfast hour. The owner says he'll rebuild, perhaps opening up in an alternative location while the work is underway. And finally, also late last week, Attorney General Leslie Rutledge again turned down a proposal for a ballot initiative to make it easy to petition for local option elections on alcohol sales in dry cities and counties. David Couch, the attorney who's pressing this campaign, has raised $185,000 from the liquor store lobby to try and get this on the ballot. Says she's playing politics. She insists she's not playing politics. She's just being a stickler for the law. In the meanwhile, no petition will go forward as yet. I'm Max Brantley. I'll be back tomorrow.
You feel it in your heart. The spirit of Little Rock. We've had that spirit since 1927, helping build our city by producing decades of leaders in the heart of our state. We are the heart of business and innovation, the heart of politics and government, the heart of arts and culture, and in our city beats the heart of a Trojan. UALR, we are Little Rock's team and Little Rock's University.